As I close in on completing my Famicom collection, I've also been picking up some other material around it. Strategy guides, old game magazines. There's these VHS tapes of Famicom game walkthroughs that I've been really interested in picking up if I can find cheap. And one of the biggest extras I've been adding is the source material for games. A lot of these Famicom games are based on obscure shows and comics, and getting those lets me see what the game is supposed to be representing. Tsurikichi Sanpei was a very long-running comic. Roughly 10 years, though at the time of this game's publication, there wasn't an active show or comic. I got a couple of the books with one of my Famicom orders, and it turns out I like it a lot. Probably not enough to get 12,000 pages of comics, but I could definitely see why people liked it. Tsurikichi Sanpei is the story of Sanpei, a young boy in a rural Japanese village on the northern part of Honshu, and he's a brilliant fisherman. I do have to point out one unfortunate thing here. The Kichi part of Tsurikichi is a slur. I'm not 100% positive on the context. The only place I could find a dictionary definition for it said that it was an obsessive person. I just found discussion that its use in the title was controversial given that it's a slur. Getting to the game, Sanpei is taking part in a fishing tournament at sea. Every morning he sets out and tries to catch as many fish as he can, and at the end of the day he heads in to have his fish weighed. Now that sounds pretty straightforward, but there's a twist on this one. The only way that you can win the fishing derby and the game is to catch the blue marlin. It's somewhere out there, and if you catch it, you win. Doesn't matter how few fish you caught before, doesn't matter how many fish other people caught, the blue marlin wins, and if you don't have it, someone else wins. I'm going to be up front here. This is another fishing game that defeated me. I followed instructions, tutorials, video playthroughs, and I never caught a single fish. Oh, I hooked a couple, reeled them all the way in, and then they turned out to be nothing. So I'm sure there's some aspect to this game that I'm missing. When you set out, you first need to pick a spot to fish. The sea is divided up into these sections, and you have to cruise around until you spot a fish. Then hit start to go to the fishing screen. You can always hit start to go back to that map and cruise around. So now here you are as Sanpei on the back of the boat. You hit select to bring up the next menu, and then choose the strength of the line you're using. The weaker line breaks more easily, but you get more points for your fish. Since there's only one fish that matters, and you have to use the stronger line to catch it, just choose the stronger line. The other option is bait. At the start you only have 3 choices of bait, and that will improve throughout the derby. Once you've made your selections, you can just wait. You can steer the boat a little bit by hitting left and right, but that doesn't seem to really have an effect. Your companions will give you running commentary. The one in the red outfit will suggest changing bait or going to a new location if the fish aren't going to bite. You'll probably find yourself in a situation where none of your bait works. And all you can do in that case is move. When a fish bites, you don't have to do anything to set the hook. You just have to push back to pull on the line, then release down and start tapping B as fast as you can. The arrows indicate how much strain there is on the line. If they turn color, the fish is fighting a little bit hard and you need to lay back. And you can also see if the fish is pulling hard to one side. Go through this a few times, and you'll haul it onto the boat. Once the day's over, or you feel like you've had enough fishing, you can drive back to the harbor where you'll settle in for the night. This is the first Famicom game developed by Advanced Communication. They're a minor developer who don't really have any good games to their name. Their best known game is the disastrous TurboGrafx 16 pack-in Keith Courage. I'm looking at Tsurikichi Sanpei and I'm thinking, maybe I'm just incompatible with fishing games. This is the second one we've seen on the Famicom, and the second one that's been totally impenetrable. But even if I was regularly landing fish, I still don't think this would have been a good game. The fishing feels kind of shallow, there's just not much to do with it. And tying the whole game around catching one particular fish kind of ruins the fishing derby aspect of things. It's not a hateful or unpleasant game, it's just mediocre.